Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Beltran and today's video subject matter is Dear Black Lives Matter. Now this video has not been scripted in any way, so I'm literally going off the cuff. What is my issue with Black Lives Matter? I have no issue with the phrase, I have no issue with the sentiment, I have no issue with the notion. I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe all lives matter, and at the moment there is obviously a very specific movement with the concept of Black lives because there's a belief obviously that Black lives at this moment in history are not being treated particularly well. Now, slavery began, I believe, in 1619 and it finished in 1865. This is slavery of the type where a white man would, and it's less I think than 3% of society that bought and traded and paid for other people. So when the white man was purchasing human beings, this was done, as I said, between I think 1619 to 1865, and that has ended. And we're not living in 1865, we're not living in the 1600s, we're not living in the 1700s, we're not living in the 1800s. We are living in a time now where Barack Obama, the President of the United States, has in fact been president for 2 terms and did nothing really to help the fellow African Americans. He hasn't done anything. Then we have someone like Donald Trump, who isn't black, who has stepped in and in his first 4 years improved the economy, improved the condition of the United States where black people and Latino people had more work. And a lot of people talk about, well, he's a sellout because, you know, he's assisting Israel and that makes him a sellout. Well, let's focus on what he's done for the United States, and what he's done for the United States is actually assist the average black man. Someone like Dr. Ben Carson would admit this. Someone like Candace Owens would admit this. Someone like Thomas Sowell would admit this. Someone like Larry Elder would admit this. So it's not a minute, tiny, little, insignificant number of black people who see this. It is actually many, many black people who see this. It is actually many, many Latinos who see this. So what is the issue that Black Lives Matter has? My understanding is that part of this issue is the fact that they are concerned with their lives not having any value based on institutional racism. So they have something known as affirmative action. I think affirmative action is institutional racism because it is the implied belief or the blatant understanding that you are unable to make it to Harvard University on your own. You are unable to make it to Princeton or to Oxford, which is not in America. You are unable on your own to make it to these establishments of education, and so you tick a box and then you get special treatment to get into these institutions. So you're right, there is institutional racism there, but it's sort of the other way around. It's sort of created and organized to make you believe that you are unable to make it on your own, and so you have to tick a box. I believe that you can do it on your own. I don't think you need affirmative action. I really don't. And I would say the same thing for Aboriginals here in Australia. You don't need ab study. You have amazing autonomy, you have amazing agency, and you have the ability to work really hard and get to whatever position you want to in life. If you don't believe the concept, if you don't believe the idea that black people are somehow intellectually less capable than white people, if you don't believe that and you're an individualist and you know that you can make it on your own, why do you need that extra box? It doesn't make sense. If you go from the past to now, what kind of message are we sending people where we are trying to convince society that because you have black skin, you need extra help? What is the media not discussing? The media is not showing videos of what black people are doing to white people right now. I've never stated once that I think it's okay to treat black people badly and to treat white people well or the other way around, because it's not true. All lives matter. So I want to understand something. If I was living in the 1950s or 60s, I would have stood with the black people. As a Latina, I would not have been considered white anyway. I've seen the signs. No dogs, no Jews, no Mexicans. I would have been sitting at the back of that bus. So I would have stood with you. I believe myself to be politically consistent. I believe myself to be as thought consistent as possible. Of course, sometimes that doesn't always come to fruition, but for the most part I am. People talk against other groups of people. People are racist. I know them, unfortunately, and it horrifies me, but they have a right to say what they're saying. They do, but that doesn't mean you need to feed into the things that they are claiming. They are claiming that you guys as a collective are savages. And when you behave like this, it's a little savage. I don't think it's okay for a group of people, young people, to go up to a woman in a wheelchair and hit her on the back of the head and look through her bag and take out the crap in her bag. I don't think it's okay for black people to be going up to a white man and beating the crap out of him based on the fact that he is white. You are picking on individuals rather than picking on the problem. Now, what's the problem? The police, apparently. Okay, so the police is the problem. What kind of order do you think will then exist when you defund the police? Do you think that the black leaders like Martin Luther King really are happy with this situation? You guys are fighting for segregation again. You want segregation. You're giving the far-right racists exactly what they want. They want the segregation and the separation of the races too. So if you want to have a neighborhood and you want it full only of black people, go for it. But bear in mind that accelerationism is happening fast, and so you're going to end up getting your way. You're going to realize how effed up that is, and you will regret the end outcome. And then you're going to be like, oh, well, that's not really how I wanted it. Then we have people crying, blaming Trump supporters for the fact that they no longer have work. Well, if you weren't behaving in the manner in which you've behaved against non-Black Lives Matter individuals and activists, you wouldn't be losing your job, okay? So, what do you want? What do you want? Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying black people because I'm trying not to collectivize, but Black Lives Matter. White lefties and black people in that group, as well as Latinos in Black Lives Matter. What do you want? I don't think you know what you want. Do you know that there is still slavery today? Do you know that slavery exists? Sex slavery? Do you know that I've made 2 videos on this already? Do you know that slavery is more prevalent now in history than it ever has been before? Many who are white, many who are black. What are you doing about this problem? You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You are fighting for the sake of fighting. You are fighting for the sake to be heard. You are fighting for the sake of rioting. You are fighting for the sake of race. Many of you don't even identify with the white part of you, and you have a big part of your bloodline that is white. Do you know that? So, Black Lives Matter, once again, what do you want? I think you don't know what you want because you're confused and because you have been infected with TDS, among other things. So anyway, I didn't think I'd get so riled up. What do you want? Black Lives Matter. I think you are looking for reasons to get violent and to be savage. Black people in South Africa are going up to white people at their farms and killing them and boiling their children alive. Let's not let the United States get to that point. Let's not let the UK get to that point, Canada or Australia. Let's be better. So by being better, you need to start reading and looking at other perspectives. And you need to stop acting like a victim and realize that you can be better and you can be a victor. Peace out.